Hello, everyone. Good morning. I have a massive challenge. What Neeta just explained was something that I'm supposed to do, and normally it takes me about 20-25 minutes. And every time I come for this event, my time keeps getting reduced. In fact, this morning they said I had 10 minutes, and just before I walked in, they said, can you do it in 7 minutes? So my job now is within the next 7 minutes to give you that answer to all the questions she put in, which, as you can understand, is very, very challenging. So I will try my very best. My goal is to, of course, contextualize this for all of you and hopefully give you some framework of what you can potentially use as you build your businesses and as you work through your challenges and opportunities that this change is creating for all of us. So on behalf of the Board of Directors of Frost & Sullivan, my fellow partners at Frost & Sullivan, but more importantly, my team here in India, I'd like to welcome you all to our Growth Innovation Leadership Summit, which I hope will be a very exciting summit for all of you. As I was preparing for this event, I was thinking, what should I start off? And how do I give people a perspective of what change really means? And what got me thinking was an event that I just attended in Singapore not too long ago, and that was the Formula One racing. In the last 50 years since that race has been put in place in different parts of the world, what you've seen is that in the past, changing the tires, which is a big part of that event, would take anywhere between 53 to 55 seconds. And that was considered incredible efficiency and process. Today, that same tire change takes about 1.9 seconds. That's the speed at which things are happening. And this is exactly what's happening in our business as well. So as we all know, change is a constant. And this Greek philosopher, many, many years ago, millions of years ago, went into the nature and realized that nature was changing. Nature was always in a flux. And what he established through that work that he did was that change is constant. And that's exactly what's happening in our business as well. If you look at what's happened, especially in the recent past, look at what happened in 2017, what's happened in 2016. We've had governments change, governments that we thought would not potentially lead biggest of countries in the world. We've seen changes happen in that. We've seen the oldest prime minister being elected in a country like Malaysia. We've seen incredible implementation of massive projects in a country like India with universal healthcare now being available for every citizen of this country. We've seen Facebook, one of the most loved companies in the world, getting hacked. So you're seeing this change happening all the time, and obviously this change does create disruption. It's collapsing the traditional industries. It's transforming many, many industries. And obviously within this context, there are companies that are doing extremely well because they're preparing themselves for that. At the same time, there are companies that are sitting on the sidelines and unfortunately have undergone massive disruption. And if you go through a list of companies over the last 10 years that were common household names, you will find many of them do not exist anymore. And likewise, companies that you did not know 10 years ago have now become household names today. Flipkarts, Amazons, and companies, Googles, like the names that we all talk about on a daily basis. That's what is happening in today's day and environment. And I think what is causing this, I believe, is technology, disruptive technologies. And the technology is now both enabling and also disrupting every industry out there. And therefore, to me, it is now becoming apparently very clear that we are now entering, or if we have not entered, we are definitely in the fourth industrial revolution, which is all about technology. It's all about digital transformation. You can give it any name, but that's what's happening. So if you look at the various revolutions that we have gone through over the years, you'll find that at each revolution, there was a massive pivot that happened. And the biggest one, of course, was steam engines use within the ecosystem at, many, many years ago. And I believe today's steam engine is technology. And whether you are a company in the healthcare space, whether you're a company in the automotive space, you have to look at yourself as a technology company. And so in this revolution, people ask me, what does it mean? What it really means is you can no longer operate with linear growth. You have to look at businesses, you have to look at divisions within your businesses that now will experience and should experience exponential growth. So as business leaders, when you now get business plans from your various groups and they show linear growth, I think it's time to push that back and ask for better performance, because digital technology enables that to happen. And that's why it's becoming very important for you to survive and thrive in this ecosystem. If you're not growing double digit, if you're not seeing exponential growth, survival is at stake. And that's why digital transformation is all about exponential growth. And you'll see companies that are demonstrating that are being liked by people in every part of the world. If you look at the industry formation, you can see there is a tremendous transformation in industries. Traditional industries of ICT, healthcare, all of these are being transformed, and soon we will see new industries that will emerge. And that can be around big data, it can be around augmented reality. These will be the new industries of the future. And that's why, as a company, you have to start looking at all of these opportunities and make sure you are preparing yourself for these opportunities. A perfect example that I like to say in terms of disruption is the logistics industry. A very traditional industry. There was a time when large companies took the responsibility of doing end-to-end logistics. But what has happened over time is smaller companies have come and looked at the entire value chain and recognized that there is an opportunity for disrupting each and every component of that entire industry. They can do it better, they can do it cheaper, they can do it faster. So what that means, this industry is going through what I call as death by 1,000 cuts. So largest of companies, whether it's the DHLs of the world, UPSs of the world, are seeing massive disruption because companies like Uber are now becoming part of this ecosystem. And that's what we are going to see in practically every industry. Obviously, when you see this kind of change, and change we all know is now a constant, what do you do and how do you prepare your company for the future? According to Frost & Sullivan, based on work that we have done for over 25 years in this specific area, we feel that you should be looking at 3 major parameters. And this is a framework that we have developed that we use with all our clients, irrespective of industries, irrespective of geographies. There are basically 3 components, one of which is on disruptive technologies. And one of the things we are saying to every company today, you have to look at yourself as a technology company. Everything you do must have technology embedded in it. I mean, look at a bank like JP Morgan. A bank is now completely transformed. Today, more than 40% of their employees are people with technology background. Across the various technology areas, you can see the number of patents these banks have now built, created, and made a big part of their business. So today, if you talk to the CEO of JP Morgan, they will never say they are a bank, they are a technology company. And that's what we have to start looking at, ways in which we can take advantage of these technologies in our business as well. These are the top 50 technologies we believe are disruptive in nature. And later today, we'll talk about this, we'll cover this in much greater detail. The importance is not to just understand these technologies, but the important part is to understand how these technologies interplay with each other. And it'll be important as you run this workshop today, learn how you can use these technologies to both enable your business, including see in ways in which you can improve your customer experience as well. The next important section that I think everybody needs to understand and learn is on megatrends. These are very transformative in nature, they are global in nature, and I can tell you almost every megatrend that is on this slide is affecting a country like India. Urbanization, which is the largest, I call it the mother of all megatrends, is completely transforming every part of a business. And leading to these are opportunities in the areas of smart cities, smart transportation, smart energy, and many other facets of urbanization. There are concepts like innovating to zero. These are fantastic concepts that I would recommend every company look at within their organization to see what can they innovate to zero, whether it's waste, whether it's crime for cities, etc. So it's important to understand all these megatrends and figure out what these trends mean and what is their impact onto your business. because sooner or later, these megatrends will have an impact in your business one way or the other. So understanding them, understanding their implications becomes very important. The last part is what I like to call as the industry convergence part. The reality is because of technology, all traditional industries are being transformed. So growth in the future is not necessarily going to be in the traditional industries. It's going to be in the areas of convergence. It's going to be driven by connectivity. So whether it's industries, whether it's products, whether it's even people's careers, all these are being transformed. That's why you see today in careers as well, various types of careers that are now being established to drive the change that is happening in the world today. So you have to think about these things as you move forward. So what are the implications of this? One is, of course, through this, identify new growth engines, new growth opportunities. At the same time, build a plan to mitigate some of these potential headwinds that you might see in the process. Look at new business models. So it doesn't have to be new products, new services. Look at new business models. If GE can rent their engines today and use that as a way to drive revenues, there are various other ways for you as industrial companies, technology companies, healthcare companies to look at new business models. Look at everything that you do in a very innovative, whether it's your process, product, service. Look at innovative ways of delivering more value to your customers, obviously in the cheapest possible form. I think digital transformation is more or less a must in every part of the business. Look to acquire new talent and competencies. Existing talent either has to be retrained or new people have to be acquired with new skills. Technologies like artificial intelligence, we are now going to see as the biggest revolution after the internet revolution. Approach has to be a lot more agile. So in preparing for the future, I recommend look at technology as a key differentiator, look at technology as a first approach, look at AI, look at blockchain, look at all these interesting technologies that can add tremendous value to what you do. Create a vision for the future, because that vision is very different from what you are traditionally used to. And of course, focus on value and delivery. And like I said, finally, make sure business model is a big part of your strategy moving forward. I know this is a lot in the shortest possible time, but I can tell you, while there's a lot of challenges companies are facing, but this is certainly opening tremendous opportunities. If you go through this process, which many, many companies do worldwide, the best in the class, you can see many are seeing great success. So exciting times, enjoy the ride, and I hope to work with all of you throughout the day. Thank you very much.